one of these days we will make it on here on time. But I'm Dennis. We got Tamara. We got Alex, Muddy Water Search and Recovery.
Hello, everybody.
Yep. Hello.
See, we've got Jennifer and Mac Randall Jr., Kristen, 39, Joanne. Now, Joanne did comment earlier she's going to try to make it tonight, but she had to take both cold and allergy medication and was struggling to stay awake. Mark, how you doing, Mark? So, guys, we are basically pretty much 3 days away from the day that Randy Leach went missing 38 years ago.
Yep.
That is a long time for anybody to be missing and to basically have no more answers than there was 38 years ago. Frustrating.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's crazy is yesterday, in between some stuff that I had going on yesterday, I had received some, they just, from all the different Facebook pages, they show up, but I don't know if this one page that I follow, they are pushing all the very old cases. And it was cases from the late 60s, early 70s, into the 80s. And you know, it's crazy when you look at this and you see, you know, the amount of people that truly are missing. I mean, the people that are missing that get no type of, there's nobody looking for the majority of these people anymore. I mean, they are non-existent unless you belong to some form of social media where they are sharing these cases. Nobody would ever know that these people are missing. You know, and, you know, Randy's case is getting up there. It is getting up there in that time period. You know, because and just like what you just said, 38 years, you know, I started at basically the combined school district, you know, just a few months later, my freshman year. So it was, you know, 38 years ago, however you want to look at it, that I was a freshman that started right after Randy went missing, you know, just a couple of months, basically. And, you know, I really hope that, you know, every day that somewhere, some way, there's some kind of lead, some kind of information that will help, you know, resolve this. Because it has. It's like we've all discussed. It's gone on long enough, you know.
And tonight, I have been forgetting to do this on a lot of our live feeds, but we bring up a lot that, you know, we have a P.O. box if anybody has information that they want to share, but they want to remain 100% anonymous, even with us. And that address is in the video description tonight. And that is an easy way to share information that could help, even if you're wanting to remain 100% anonymous.
Yeah. And you don't, you know, you don't have to put your name, your return address. You know, you don't have to put any of that. Get in your vehicle and go drive 20, 30 minutes away and go mail it in some other town. You know, and there's nothing, you know, and I don't want to say this is sad, but how many years have we had the P.O. box now? 2 years?
Yeah, it's been over 2 at this point.
To this day, we have still only received, well, now it'd be 2 pieces of mail, and it was literally mail from the farm show. That's it. All, you know, going over this time period, nobody has ever sent us anything on one single case. Nobody's even sent us a Christmas card. Nobody sent us a, you know, a upside down smiley face and told us to stop, you know. And it's like, I really would hope that somebody that knows something, and it's on their heart, it's on their mind, that they need to talk. I've always hoped and wished that somebody would reach out to us, and just write a letter and say, hey, this is, go look here, or go look in this state, or this is what. Sorry, there's a helicopter flying over the house, which is really odd for where I live. But nothing's ever happened, and I just, I still wish that someday, sooner or later, somebody will do something.
Because so far, anything that's come in on Randy's case has either been a phone call to one of us, an email, or a message. And some of those have actually led to physical searches.
Oh, yeah.
Including some areas that we are going to go back and do more with.
Yeah.
But as far as in depth like that, there was one, and he had reached out to me. We talked forever. And, our discussions, off camera, we were able to basically prove what he was saying wasn't true. It could not have happened how he said. The descriptions were nowhere near what he gave. And even once we figured that out, we still spent days digging into that just for confirmation on that. And even today, there is still a search location that is on our list that has to do with that, because we want to be thorough with every lead that comes in. And it's crazy, throughout all of our cases, we have people calling us and saying they're eyewitnesses. They seen this and seen that. And it just blows my mind that there hasn't been anybody reach out anonymously like that through the PO box.
Well, I was just getting ready to make a comment and say, I don't want people to think that nobody reaches out to us, because that's not the case. I was getting at the point of nobody has taken advantage of sending us a piece of mail that has no way of us contacting them or seeing where it came from or who wrote it, and basically just scribbling on a piece of paper, you need to look here. This is where he's at. You need to go look in this state. This is where he went. You need to do this. You need to do that. Quit wasting your time. You're never going to find him. Nothing. I'm not saying we don't get anything, because we do. It's just, we've given the most simplest way to get out of anybody saying, well, this is who told us this. And we've never, ever, ever had that piece of mail come through.
That's just
but you were right, though, when what you were just explaining about this one person. And I'm not quite sure if we've gone into detail with Tamara, with this person, and what was said. But I think I know the situation you're talking about. And this person basically told us a lot of things and told us an area which was not very far from Linwood, gave us tons of details. But the problem is we tend to, when we get something and we feel very strong, there has been many a nights, and Tamara, when this happened, this was before you were involved with this. We spent all day, all night looking at this situation, this location, and everything that this person was telling us, we felt like, this is it. This guy is telling us names, people, the location. He's showing us on a map where it's at. I mean, everything is there. But everything he told us that was there was not there in 1988. and he lied to us. It was a point blank lie, So then, as the questioning progressed, after we were using vintage aerial websites, and that's how we figured this out, because of the pieces of property that was there, the buildings that he said was there that night in 1988. On that day, there was nothing on that property, and he basically put an X on a map and said this is where it took place, which is sad, because I'm not saying we took it like hook, line, sinker to the bottom of the pond, but we really followed it in depth. And eventually Dennis and I was like, this is a lie. This makes absolutely no sense. There was none of these pieces of building entities on these structures. There was nothing in this field at that time. There was nothing there, and I guess that's where we went down what we used to call the payroll. Why is this person doing this? Is there another entity pushing someone to lie to get us sidetracked? All these different things. And in the reality, that seems kind of like what it was, or this person was just lying for no reason. And, that person, how long was you talking with that person, Dennis? I mean,
several months.
I mean, it went on for quite a while. And how many times was there an agreed time and date and location to meet?
Yeah, there were multiple.
And every single time we were stood up.
And it was so credible at the time that even law enforcement got involved with that lead.
And this, I guess, in a way, this person basically said they witnessed the end. It wasn't them saying, well, this is what, happened. They were very graphic in details about how everything happened. And the sad thing is it couldn't have happened. It could have happened at another location that very well fit some of those details. And we did look at another piece of property that had been mentioned time and time again. But where he basically said X marks the spot on this map in this area was a point blank lie. It could have never happened there. So.
And Jennifer has a good point. I think a lot of people may have heard rumors they feel deep down is true, and they will say they were there just to make the site more appealing to search.
That's a very valid point, 100%. But this person threw a lot of information out there. And if I remember right, and of course, we're not going to name names, but questioning other people who knew people, I think if I'm right, and Dennis, correct me if I'm wrong, but did we not have confirmation of these people seeing each other that night? And these people somehow had agreed to things, or at some point there was some kind of communication to either they were lying or this event truly did happen, but it's not happening where he told us it happened.
And it was the next day that interaction took place.
Yes.
I would call them trolls. We've had plenty of those for sure. But even when it's information that we pretty much know what it is, we still have to do our job and be thorough and be able to basically prove that that's not it before we just rule it out. And at this point, I don't think we've actually ruled out anything in Randy's case.
No. You know, I know that the times that we have done stuff here with, you know, our third person here that's always with us. You know, I think when we do the dowsing rod sessions with Tamara and the information that comes across, you know, it's incredible. You know, there's, you know, it's just another form of trying to get answers, trying to figure things out. You know, and when we look at all these things, it does get tough. I mean, hands down, it's very tough to look at this and then think about, okay, well, this makes sense on paper. This looks 100% like this is where we need to be. And then, you know, something happened over here, but this doesn't quite make sense, but it does, you know, and it's tough. It's tough trying to look at the facts, you know, the real facts, you know, the reports that people had given, eyewitness accounts, and then everything else is hearsay, which in general, everything is hearsay because it's either translated to paper or it's, you know, communicated mouth to mouth. So, yeah. And so the comment about Leanne, that situation happened with me. We were having a discussion one night, and I basically kind of made a disagreement comment with Leanne, and she got upset. And basically I wasn't, what would be the word, Dennis?
You weren't being disrespectful towards her. And in fact, your comment and more of a question that you asked that night was not directed at her in any way, but she misinterpreted that.
I think I think the situation was, were we not talking about the police and what they had done? And I believe that she feels that the police didn't do enough or didn't do anything. And I said, I think my rebuttal to that comment was, I think the police did quite a bit, because how many pieces of paper do we have of police reports of them taking, what is it called now? I don't want to say depositions, but them basically taking reports of what other kids had seen. And I basically said, well, I think they did quite a bit, because look how much is out there. I mean, you know, I'm not saying they could have done better, because, I mean, let's be honest, everybody could always do better, you know, but for the sense of reality is they did a lot. I mean, has anybody ever looked at the first sheet and stopped at the last one? I mean, oh my word, we're talking just an unreal amount of information. Yeah. I mean, Jen's right. So, you know, I think she thought I was calling her a liar, and I wasn't. I was just disagreeing. I mean, by all means, everybody has a right to disagree about anything and everything. I mean, that's how we do this. But I wasn't trying to be rude or hateful or anything to her. And, you know, I'm very sorry that she took it that way. And what happened, Dennis? We had something happen, and Dennis, you reached out to her and you asked her a question, and she said, why don't you just ask Alex? Something like that, wasn't it? And it's like, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to, by all means, I wasn't trying to be mean or anything. I just was saying what I thought. No different than what she had said multiple times. So there's no bad blood. I do not dislike her. I do not think anything negative of her. There was multiple times that she talked. She gave up wonderful information with us. With Adventures with Purpose with Jared and all them, and the stuff that they did back in the beginning. So, it is what it is. So
I'd love to have her come back on. That would be
yeah.
Be cool.
Some of the bigger videos we did back in the day, by all means, people, when people knew that Leanne was going to be on, we had big crowds. I mean, we had a big audience those nights, and people were asking her questions, in the equivalent of people asking Tamara questions while she's doing her dowsing rod. It was just rapid fire questions, one after another. So yeah, I hope she's doing well, by all means. So hopefully someday she will come back around, by all means.
And Tamara, was you going to do some dowsing tonight?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can do some dowsing.
Sweet.
Just let me know when you're ready. I have the dowsing rods already.
And before we go into that, we'll probably have you go ahead and explain it out again in case there's anybody new in the comments can understand more what's going on with that.
Sure. Did you want to do the dowsing now?
Do you think we should just do a little quick, because I don't have my phone on, so I can't see how many people's watching right now. Because I don't know how many people's
right now.
I'm sorry, Dennis.
Looks like 12 right now.
Well, so I'm sure everybody knows the A to Z on the Randy case, but I don't know if we should give a little quick recount for those that might be watching and we can't see their names. And just give a quick little whatever, and then we can go into the dowsing. But let Tamara explain what she does and how it works.
Okay, so the way I see dowsing, there's different opinions on it, but really it's just, I've heard it explained as like a mother's intuition. It's answers that you don't know you have. For me, it's more of a connection to like a higher self. Guardian angels, spirit guides, something like that to provide the answers. It's not, for me, it's not connecting with anyone who's passed or anything like that. I know sometimes on the ghost shows, they talk about it that way. To me, if someone is passed and their spirit is stuck, that doesn't mean they necessarily know everything. So I tend to go with my guides or angels or higher self, etc., universe, and just ask. And I'm just more of, it's just a tool. There's nothing special about the dowsing rods. They're just tools. The rods are not providing the answer. Your openness to intuition is. And if this was, intuition in general, if it was super easy, there wouldn't be any lost people because it'd be super easy to find them. So it's not an exact science by any means. This is just, technically it's just for information purposes only. It's really for entertainment. And it is also no guarantee that what I get is correct. It depends how good I am about just being open to whatever answers I get. And there's also, my belief is that sometimes there's answers that, there's things we aren't supposed to know for whatever reason, So I guess it's something that I've been working on for about 15 years now or so. I really enjoy doing it. I also have some intuition. So sometimes I'll get, other things as well as just the dowsing, but the dowsing tools are a good tool and people can see it and ask questions, and it's just simple yes or no. So if it is a cross, that's a yes. And if it's open, then that's a no. And then it just starts in the middle, which is kind of the neutral neutral area. So
So, Alex, you want to give an explanation on Randy's case?
Yeah. So here's kind of just a short, if anybody is here that doesn't know who we're talking about. So Randy Wayne Leach, he went missing basically the night of April 15th, early morning hours of the 16th. So supposedly Randy had left home around 6:30 in the evening, kind of like after dinner time. He had met up with someone. They went and looked at his car at a body shop over in DeSoto, Kansas. They had basically come back to town. At some point, the other guy that was with him name was Steve. Randy was seen at the local convenience store in Linwood, Kansas. I think if the story was right, he went in and he came out, purchased a couple cans of soda, a couple candy bars, and I think he put a couple dollars worth of gas in his mom's 1985 Dodge 600 car. But I think he had ran around with Steve a little bit. And then eventually he went to the Irwin's graduation party.
Bye, Papa.
Oh, you leaving? Okay, give me hugs and kisses. Love you.
Bye.
You want to tell everybody bye? Whoop, can't see him.
Bye.
Bye, buddy. So at the Irwin's party, which was off of 166th Street, this was a party being put on by the Irwin family, and there was quite a few kids there. There was kids from basically Linwood, I think Tonganoxie, Kansas City, Kansas, Bonner Springs, Edwardville. There was quite a bit of kids that was supposedly there. I think the numbers at any given time could have been 30 to probably 150-ish, maybe. They were serving alcohol there. I think the mom was selling, like the red Solo cups. I think it was like $3 and you could drink as much as you could drink. Definitely there was, drug use going on. So, at some point that night, there was tons of people there that, have witness accounts seeing Randy. It's not like he supposedly was there and then he vanished from there. He was seen there by lots of, kids. The mom seen him, the Irwin mother that was one of the hosts of the party. So he was definitely seen there. There was people that said, he could have been drunk, he could have been high, disoriented. He was seen randomly from here to there, back and forth, so on and so forth. That went on quite a bit. And I want to say sometime around 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, I believe, is probably when the interaction happened with Leanne and, oh Lord, let me think of his name. The two brothers, the Burns. The Burns brothers. At some point, I think they were going to take Randy home, and then the Burns brothers had to run other kids home, and they were going to come back and get Randy. And I think at some point in this is when the interaction happened with Leanne, and I think Leanne was able to get Randy into her car, and then Leanne went to do something, so on, back and forth. And then at some point, that's when Leanne came back and Randy was gone. I think at that point, that was pretty much the last eyewitness account of seeing Randy and his mom's car on the property. After that, nobody had seen him. But I think the timeline is supposedly, I want to say I think we could probably say 2:00, 2:30. Here's one little hiccup in that whole thing, and it's been brought up many a times, was daylight savings time was in effect, had just happened like the week before or 2 weeks. We got to remember back in 88, everybody was running a wristwatch. Nobody had cell phones. No kids had cell phones. I assume some kids might have had beepers, possibly. But for the average thing, the clocks that they would look at was either a wristwatch, the clock in their car or truck on a radio or on a dash or in someone's house. So, that question had been brought up if that timeline was correct or if it was off by an hour. We don't know. So, that's pretty much it. That the end of the night at that time point till when, Mrs. Leach, Alberta Leach, wakes up and evidently notices that the car is not in the driveway. And I think that's when, Mr. and Mrs. Leach kind of went into that panic mode of where's our son? Where's the car? Where is he at? He didn't call because nobody woke us up. So, I don't know. We don't know the exact 100% details, but it was sometime around 6:30, I think, in the morning when all this started. And then they called Alberta's, one of her brothers, he was a patrolman in Lawrence, Kansas, right, Dennis? And
yeah, I believe so.
And at that time, I think I don't honestly, and Dennis, this would be a question for you or a question for Jennifer, because I know she knows timeline numbers. Was it 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning when they ended up at the Irwins and basically looking for Randy because that's where they knew he was going to be at? And I think they had started already calling other kids. Hey, did Randy stay the night with you? Did he come to your house and just fall asleep? And that's where the whole story is it's just so full of reports and everything from there on out. And Jen is correct in her comment, and no one was tracking his movements. Those time frames are guesstimates at best. And, that is correct. It's not like now if you're out mowing the yard and somebody calls you, and more than likely, you could tell somebody, well, this is what time it was. This is when this happened, because now that's in the society we live in. That is how things work because we have a phone in our hand. It's in our pocket. It's, we look at it more than we would ever look at a watch on our hand. So, you getting ready to leave?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Love you.
Love you.
Okay. I'll see you later. Have a good day at school tomorrow.
So, can you come to take me tomorrow?
We'll see.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
Bye. Love you.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, grandkids are leaving. So they were back on site around 7 a.m. Okay. And I know there was a lot of discussion, and we've had this discussion that people, I guess we got to look at this two ways. People have talked about, the party site being spotlessly clean, so on, so forth. From stuff that I have heard and stuff that we have kind of researched, people said, oh, well, something terrible must have happened because the place was spotlessly clean. Well, I think if things are right, Mr. Irwin was being released from jail and was being picked up that morning. And that was the reason everything was spotlessly clean. I don't think we've ever had a document or a piece of paper that states that as factual evidence, but that's what, I have been told, in and out a few times.
Right. We have a comment here. Have any of you heard of Adventures with Purpose? Pretty sure they found the car. And as Jennifer says here, they came several times looking for him, but unfortunately, they have not found the car. They were able to search multiple bodies of water while they were here. And when it comes to reading sonar, it doesn't get any better than Jared with that. He's one of the best I've ever seen reading sonar.
Yeah.
In Sydney, they haven't. I've been in contact with law enforcement. Been a while, but was in contact with the family, but they haven't found Randy's car.
Yeah, because, by all means, let's be honest. If they had found the car, it would be all over everything. And our conversations tonight would not be probably in the direction they are in. They would be, okay, well, the car's been found. This is where things need to go forward, so on and so forth. As, everybody, that works on this case, everything. And, and by all means, it's okay. There was a video where they I think they went to, where was it? Where they went? Where did they go and find the car? And people thought, but what did it turn out to be? A Buick Century or a Pontiac Bonneville or something? Or a Pontiac Grand Am or Grand Prix or something. So they found something, and everybody thought that it was the car because it was that similar looking 4-door, mid-size family sedan car. And then when they pulled it out, it was not.
When a car's coming out of the water like that too, they're normally so muddy and so much silt on them that it's easy to mistake pulling a car out. When there's a case that's as high profile as Randy's is, so to speak, and then a car is found that looks similar elsewhere, same body type, same coloring, full of silt and mud, debris, it's really easy to confuse that.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong. That is one thing that we have noticed is where when there's so many pages that deal with Randy's stuff, and you will get people that get on there and they have not done any research or anything. And what's the first one they always say? Well, did you search the pond behind the house where the party was? And it's like, yeah, this, if you ever go and read and, watch other videos, everybody goes over a lot of the same details. From time to time, you'll get different details, different things that are talked about. But for the most, everybody talks about the same thing, the same situations that have happened from A to Z. So, And if I think if I remember right, was the other search team in the area the same time that Jared was here with AWP?
There was Clinton Lake, and then there was one at Perry Lake that got pulled out that was very similar too. That guy was a fisherman who seen it on his sonar, and the vehicle at Perry also looked a lot like the vehicle with Randy's, but it ended up a different make and model and different color.
Yeah.
Because one of those actually reached out to us, and I'm like, call law enforcement, get them on the scene right now.
Yeah. Well, it's just there's been so many people that have worked on the case, and there's a tremendous amount of people that work on the case but have actually never actually had boots on the ground searching. They look at it as they look at maps, they do this, they interpret other people's information, they do their stuff. And in the end, everything is positive. It's all a positive movement forward with trying to bring answers to where he's at, what happened 100%. So, and he's gone just like that. Pizza rolls must have been ready.
It's a joint effort. Yeah, a lot of these cases, Randy's in particular, I really do feel it's going to be teamwork that brings him home.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Jennifer, in case some of y'all don't know, she has put countless hours into Randy's case as well. And just recently, she put something on Facebook that had to do with the timeline as well.
Yeah. Jennifer has been unbelievable in her work with the maps, documenting search locations that have been done, areas of interest. I think 5 mile, 10 mile radiuses from the actual party location. I know there's a few of you on here that have been with us forever and ever and have seen her work. We're very blessed that she does what she does and what she has shared over time, with us and other, entities of people that do this. So, absolutely. Yep.
And I really like how it seems a lot of people out there like Jennifer, the mindset is all about helping bring that missing person home, helping the families find answers. And she has been incredible with this. According to documentation, the party location did have an extensive search. Family members was on the property and friends were searching. Law enforcement had been there. A lot of people ask about a thorough search at that location, but it was searched multiple times back in the day. Now, obviously, they didn't have today's technology, but going back to the pond Alex was talking about there on the property, that pond wasn't even there until like 91 or 92, something along. It was a while after the party before the pond was even put in.
Yeah. And the average person wouldn't have never known that if somebody did not bring that out in light. You know, if we wouldn't have ever said, hey, you know, look at vintage aerial, look at this, look at that right here. That wasn't there at that time period. And then look over here. Well, there's a pond over here now at the neighbor's house. Well, they built that years later, you know? So, you know, and that's part of, you know, the searching and everything. And, but you know, in the end, you know, the fire did, cause issues, you know, and of course everybody thought, oh, well, the fire did this. But this happened or this happened, you know. But, you know, and I thought about that a while back. I thought, well, did they have luminol back then? How did they test for blood, you know, doing things like they do now? Was that technology available in 1988? Did they do that, you know, on the concrete? I don't know. So, but I you know, I had that thought because, you know, after you've watched a couple thousand reruns of Forensic Files and, you know, another 48 and all those shows, eventually you start thinking, well, wow, did they do that back then? So, So Mac Randall Jr. here has a question. Isn't there a location that was off limits to search because of a search team? So
That would likely be the Bishop Pond.
well, I was going to say there's technically two locations that have never been searched. One is that one, and the other one is the Leach's property. I'm not sure the reasoning why, what, who, how come, why not. But the Leach's property, from hearsay, from stuff we've seen, stuff we've heard from people, that it has never been searched. So there is two locations that have been brought up in videos with search teams and stuff like that. And Jen, you are correct with that. And I think in the beginning, that's truly how everybody felt. You know, because I believe the Leaches did put ads in newspapers. They did post stuff, you know, telling Randy to come home. They did that, you know, I believe it was what was it? The Kansas City Star, the Lawrence World Journal, Lawrence Journal, whatever it's called, the Lawrence newspaper. I believe they did it in Colorado, possibly, because the Leaches had property in Colorado. I think they had done it out there, possibly too. I think I might not be for sure on Colorado. Dennis, do you remember if the Leaches put ads in the paper in Colorado, basically telling Randy to come home if by chance he had gone to their camping place that they had at that?
I want to say I heard that they did, but I cannot confirm that.
But we had the Kansas City Star or the Lawrence World Journal or Lawrence Journal, the paper Lawrence, Kansas has. I think they had done the ads, in that paper, in those papers, or one of the papers.
So really the only paper I'm pulling up, I have to go through the file box and look. The Lawrence Journal World seems to have provided the most coverage, but this doesn't say if it mentioned Colorado. I have to go through that and see if I could find that. And yeah, Jennifer says definitely the Lawrence World Journal. She has copies of, but Colorado she can't confirm. See if I could find something.
Well, Tamara, would you like to do a little bit of your thing right now?
Sure. Okay. Okay, so everything's centered again. Okay, just whoever has a question.
Well, I'll start off with a question. Are we making progress in looking for Randy?
Yes.
I feel like my StreamYard's acting up again.
It seems fine right now.
It's like it keeps locking up on my side. And I am like 5 feet from the internet box, the signal box. So I don't know what's going on here. So I'll ask. Oh, so Jen has a question.
Okay.
Should the pond on the corner of 166th Street and Woods Road be searched with sonar?
Yes.
Okay. Good night, Bobby. Take care. Has this property that Jen just asked, I guess I would ask, has anybody ever been there before to search it or look at it?
Yes.
Okay. Corn Dogs 44. Oh, okay. That's not a. I guess that's a statement. Jen asked, "Have they dove on it?"
No.
No. Okay. So Corn Dogs 44 asked, "What if the house was set on fire by a close friend of Randy's because he also thought the Irwins were involved?" I don't know. I mean, there's been so many speculations of why the house was set on fire, who set it on fire, you know, why did it catch fire again the second time after it was put out? So that's been asked quite a few times, that it's been brought up. And at this time, I mean, really anything is possible. I mean, I know there was people that said, well, why didn't the Irwins rebuild when it caught on fire? Well, the Irwins had already left. They, by word of speculation, by hearsay, is that they stopped making their house payments and left. And, of course, when you have a mortgage, 99.9% of the time, your mortgage and, your mortgage insurance, your homeowner's insurance comes out of your house payment. So depending on when they stopped paying and what happened, the premium for the insurance could have been stopped being paid. And that's unfortunately when everything had happened. So Mark FG9PF asked, "Does the Ayers family have a property other than the one on 166th Street with a pond on it?"
No.
Did Randy Leach talk to Lee Ayers shortly after leaving the party that night?
To Lee Ayers?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Lee Ayers did live up the street. So one of my good friends, Keith Kaufman, he lived next door to the party. And he also was friends with Lee Ayers. And they would go to Lee's house and ride dirt bikes. They would build fence for, Lee's parents, all that stuff. So I've never heard Keith ever say anything that, that the family had another property, anything like that. I never heard him say anything else other than, that he would just ride his dirt bike up the road to their property and work on fence, and they would ride dirt bikes, so on and so forth. So Jen has asked, "Did Randy leave the party alone?"
Yes.
I would ask, when Randy left the party, was he driving the 1985 Dodge 600?
Yes.
Was Randy in a good or positive mood when he left the party that night?
Yes.
When Randy left the party, was he under the influence of any substance?
Yes.
Jen asked, when Randy left the party, did he make it off of 166th Street?
No, mostly.
No. Mark FG9PF asks, was Randy driving home or did he have another location in mind?
So was Randy driving home? Yes. Okay. Did Randy have another location in mind other than home? No.
Triple L75 asks, did Randy go to the rock quarry that night after leaving the party?
I did no on that one. Yep, that one no. I had one. Was Randy distracted when he left the party? Yes. Because I have a theory that there's a lot of times people are very distracted sometimes when they go missing. It doesn't necessarily mean it's an always thing, but that seems to be a pattern. They're very distracted. They're very, thinking over and over something, that kind of thing.
Jen asks, can Randy be found in the pond that she always talks about?
I'm not getting an answer. Maybe.
Sort of, kind of iffy.
Did Randy drive on Golden Road after leaving the party?
Yes.
Was Montgomery in Linwood around the time that Randy went missing? Not Montgomery, I'm sorry. Was Brinkley in the Linwood area the night Randy went missing?
Is that a person?
Yes.
Okay. What's the name again?
Brinkley.
Was Brinkley in the Linwood area?
You want to say the first name?
No, that's fine. I just want to make sure I understood.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
I'm going to throw a loop here. Did Brinkley and Montgomery have something to do with the disappearance of Skeet?
Of Skeet?
Skeet.
Something to do with. No. I'm seeing that as direct involvement, though.
So Skeet is Bishop. So when we were in high school, the guy that's, with the last name of Bishop, that's also missing in that whole entity of this that's all going around, everybody called him Skeet. Okay. So if you needed beer, if you needed whatever, he was the one that the kids would always say, we'll give old Skeet a couple extra bucks and he'll get you some beer, he'll get you cigarettes, whatever. So, and if I remember, that whole thing with them and everything that happened at the Bishop house was supposed to be all related. So Jen asked, did Randy see anybody on his way home from the party?
See anybody? Yes. That could be just like another car driving by. It could mean a lot of things.
Well, let's ask this. Did Randy stop and see anybody on his way home from the Irwin party?
No.
Jen asked, did Randy know this person?
No. It's a big no.
So is it safe to say that this was a person in passing while driving?
Yes.
Was it really Randy who was seen in Lawrence after April 16th?
No.
Jen asked, did this person have red hair?
No.
Mark FG9PF asked, did Randy stop at Lee Ayers' house on the way home on 166th Street?
No.
I would ask, was there any kind of confrontation between Randy and Lee Ayers over Lee Ann?
No.
That has been brought up many a times, so I just didn't bring it up out of the blue for no reason. Triple L 75. Did Randy stop on his way home with car trouble, and did someone stop to help him?
So did Randy stop on his way home
Because of
car
car trouble.
No.
Jen asked, oh, I'm sorry.
No, okay. It's kind of the answers. The first part kind of answers the second part, but I was just making sure. So, like I said, it's good to ask lots of questions in different ways.
Yeah. Jen asked, did Randy pick up anyone on his way home that night?
No.
Did Randy see Pam after the party?
Say that again.
Did Randy see Pam after the party?
So, like on his way out of the party, or after he got in his car?
After he left the location. After he left the party
after
location.
No.
Did Randy make it home and then turn around and leave again?
No. Did Randy make it home? No.
Did Randy make it to the Linwood area on his way home?
No.
Did Randy make it to Stranger Creek on his way home?
Okay, I'm gonna. Did he?
So for Randy,
cross it. Is there like a bridge with Stranger Creek?
So there's two bridges. In order to Randy to get home, he would have had to cross over Stranger Creek in one of two areas, technically.
Okay.
So I guess what I'm asking is,
Did he make it that far? Yeah.
did he even make it to either side? Either two ways to go home, technically. Did he even make it to the creek? Because he would have had to have crossed it two different ways.
I'm getting a no there. Did he cross Stranger Creek? No. No. Okay.
Mark FG9PF says, and we have discussed this many a times, is it a coincidence that Lee Ayers murdered his son and then killed himself on the same date as Randy's birthday?
So was it? Is it done intentionally that way? No.
Jen asked, did Steve drive by Randy's house the morning of the 16th before everyone knew Randy was missing?
I didn't know.
Is sonar needed to find the vehicle linked to Randy's disappearance?
No, not necessarily. I did hear, I mean, it doesn't mean that he's not in water, but I did hear like in the earth.
Jen asked, was the Ayers murder suicide related to Randy?
No,
No.
that's awful though. I didn't realize that had happened.
I would ask, was the statement of Steve Doherty driving by the Leach's residence true or wait a minute, let me try to figure out how to say this. Was the statement made about Steve Doherty driving by the Leach residence by the family false statement? Is that how I should say this? Dennis, help me out here. Both of you help me out. Because you know what I want to say.
So is it true that, what's his name, Steve? Yeah, I don't know as much about the cases, which is good because I don't want to, be reducing my risk of bias. But is it true that Steve drove by his parents' house? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay, so is it true that Steve drove by Randy's parents' house? No.
Is the statement giving to law enforcement that Steve did drive by the Leach's house that morning made in good faith?
That one's a little bit kind of a yes, no kind of thing. That's weird.
Did Steve Doherty drive a old van from the phone company?
Yes.
Was the phone company Southwestern Bell?
Yes. So Jen says something's incorrect. What's incorrect?
Help us out, Jen. I wonder if the statement about the van is incorrect on the phone, the van that, let me think. Hold on. I don't want to ask that just yet, Jen. Help us out on the incorrect. Where are we going with that?
Yeah, we can ask some more questions around it.
Because see, there's another person in the case, and this person's dad worked for the phone company.
Okay.
And
The van wasn't old at the time. Ah, okay.
oh, okay. Sorry.
No, thanks. I just wanted to make sure that we're going down
Yeah.
there. So, because I can always ask it a different way.
Okay. So Jen asked, was the van that was seen the morning of the 16th Steve's van?
No.
Okay. So that gets us caught up for a second on the questions. Unless I missed one.
That was it.
Jen, Christine 39-06D /. That's all she put was /. So Jen says, did the parent think it was?
Yes. Yes.
Can the sedan be seen from a drone?
In the car we seen from with a drone.
Yeah.
I'm getting like a maybe. Like it depends on the drone. So like a yes. Okay. I don't know. But yeah, I think it depends on the drone. Partially, if you're partially. Almost like partially covered kind of thing. But not very much is uncovered.
Did Randy lose his car keys at the party?
Yes. Did he find them before he left? Yes. Okay.
Did Randy have a minor car accident before the party?
No.
Triple L75 asks, did an individual or group of individuals bury Randy's mom's car?
I'm gonna know.
Jen asked, did anyone know he found his keys?
Yes. And I saw that Mac asked, Dennis, she had asked about a drone. Mac asked something about a thermal drone.
Oh yeah. I'm
That
sorry.
one, I feel like most of the time, no. Is it if like if a car would get, let's say a part of the car was exposed and it's sunny out, would it get warm enough? Like the heat from the sun, would that be picked up on a thermal drone?
I think Dennis and I has had this talk. Actually, right before I was able to buy the thermal drone that we just got, and we had this discussion about the thermal drone. If it was the metal would get hot enough, and you would go out after dark, after sunset, you know, long enough for the metal to still retain that heat, would you be able to pick it up versus if you were out all day long in the sun, would the metal absorb that heat and hold it and be able to see it? Or would you be better off doing it? Could you see it better if you were doing it right after sunset and dark, where everything, that first changeover in how the thermal works? And we've kind of had those questions. Would it work or would it not work?
Yeah.
So,
I see.
and at this point, believe me, this is going to be one of the things we test as soon as we get the stupid thing to work. Because, real quick update, my oldest did get it to work. It flew for about 5 seconds and crashed into the excavator on the trailer, completely out of control. And it will not link up. It took off, it hovered, and then it just took off by itself across the yard and crashed into my excavator on my trailer. So I got to put some new blades on it. So he is going to reach out to them because it's not communicating with the app linked to the phone for some reason. So, and they're not cheap. They're not a cheap drone. So hopefully it'll be something simple and we'll get it going. But we will, I promise, when we get this thing going and up and running, we will do some tests, because I have some vehicles. I know where there's stuff setting at around town that we will be able to do some of these little experiments, and try to get some kind of, stuff we can share with everybody and say, hey, this is the same vehicle during the day, during the heat of the day. This is what the thermal imaging is seeing. This is the same stuff, right after dark, at dusk, at sunset, where now the thermal coloring has changed, but we're picking up the heat from what is residually stored in the metal while the sun just went down. So we will do those things. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to get sidetracked. Okay, Mark FG9PF asks, did Lee Ayers get the keys from Randy at some point during the night, like he stated he tried to do earlier?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Let's see. Triple L75 asks, is the car buried under so much mud in the searched waterways that sonar cannot detect the vehicle?
No.
Jen asks, is Randy currently on private property?
Yes.
And just real,
Ponytail messaged and asked if Randy went to a fishing spot on his way home from the party.
No.
who asked that, Dennis?
Ponytail.
Oh, okay.
She said her questions aren't showing up on the live. if I can find out what's going on with that.
Good old StreamYard. Okay. So Jen asks, is Randy currently on private property? And we got a yes, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. Diana Bond 9645 asks, are you in water but not in your mom's car?
No.
No.
It's kind of a 2-question thing. Says Randy still in the car? Yes. In or near water? Yes. I do hear earth in the earth. Dirt.
I think that has been kind of the constant results when we ask those questions is what we just asked and what we get that more. I mean, I think that's pretty consistent that we always get that answer. Triple L 75 ask, is Randy buried on the former Irwin property?
You don't know.
In Ponytail, I'm checking to see if somehow you got blocked on YouTube or StreamYard or anything, and it's showing that nobody's blocked. So I'm not sure what's going on with your comments not showing up. I know there for a while there was like 20 people got blocked on YouTube, and I don't know how they got blocked. And then Tamara ended up getting blocked over here on StreamYard.
Dennis, did you just get a text message on your phone?
I did.
Is it a question? Is it from a number or a non-recognized number?
No, mine's recognized.
Is it asking you to ask a question?
Yes. I'll ask this one again. Ponytail. Is Randy's mother's car embedded in a riverbank?
No. So if Dennis and Alex use sonar on Jen's pond tomorrow, will they find Randy and the car? I'm not getting a yes or no on that. I think it's definitely worth looking.
Mark says, Jen, maybe Alex can go for a swim tomorrow in your pond.
I get yes.
You get yes? All right.
You're going swimming, Alex. And that, yeah,
So
I hadn't seen
I'll ask Tamara a question. Is it true that Alex doesn't like swimming in anything that doesn't have a blue pool liner?
That's a big yes.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of anything that's dark colored water. I don't know why. I have nightmares about it.
You need to see the bottom.
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but as long as it's got a blue liner or a blue painted bottom or whatever, I'm totally fine. But if it's discolored, dirty, and I can't see it, it's something. Must be something from a past life or something. I have no idea. So
Hey,
I don't know.
Jennifer says it's just a quick dip, Alex, and I got a scuba tank if you need one. We got you covered.
Yeah. Okay, back to serious questions. Diana Bond. I hope I'm saying that right. I apologize if I'm not. Was the girl that you liked at the party involved in your disappearance?
So was the girl that Randy liked involved in his disappearance? No. Yeah, no.
She says you're right, Alex. So here's one. Between Alex and I, we have been on a lot of properties in the area on Randy's case. Have I physically stood on the property that Randy Leach will be found on?
Yes.
See, that answer has been consistent each time we've done this on Randy's.
Is it?
Does that property have a deep hole on it?
I get an answer. I kind of get, and I've gotten this before, because to me it sounds silly, but there's something about going through the process. It's kind of the same thing as with like Jen's Pond. It's like there's something about going through the process that has value, whether he's there or not. And so it's like if I say no, or the answer is no or yes, I hear that's not the point. So
Yeah.
So there's value to it, and it's your journey. So
did the car Randy was driving malfunction, resulting in his disappearance?
no.
And Diana says, yes, we have a James in the family. Max said she's famous. Diana Bond and James Bond. Got a celebrity in the house tonight.
Yeah, we lost Alex. I noticed I happened to look up when they were asking about if the car had been found. I looked up Adventures with Purpose in their website, and on the Randy Leach page that they have, they actually have David Pilates video as well, because he talked
Oh,
about it.
wow.
Yeah, I think that's still a possibility. I'm not sure though, but who knows?
And as Max said, Alex made it an hour and a half again. Diana asked, did Randy know the people involved with his disappearance?
Okay. So did Randy know the people that made this involved? No.
And did an individual or group of individuals hide Randy's mom's car somewhere?
No.
Did Mark and I discuss the property that Randy can be found on in the past?
I'm saying could be found on. Yes.
Will Randy be discovered by accident?
Oh, that's a good question. Nope. At least at this point in time.
Did somebody want Randy's mom's car to make money from selling parts?
No.
I know you normally don't like answering very direct questions like
Yeah.
that, so I will leave that one up to you.
Yeah, is Randy in a barrel in the Missouri River? I get a no. Certain. No. Get a no on that question.
And Alex says he's going to try to log back in on this.
Okay. Yeah, I know that's one of the stores or one of the rumors that has gone around.
Jen asks, can Randy be found on one of the needs to be checked locations on the search map?
Get a yes. Kind of got a no answer first. I do get mostly yes.
In her map, she has done extensive work on that.
Yeah. I think it's near. Maybe not like X marks the spot, but near.
Is Randy within 5 miles of home?
Of his home?
Yes.
Yes.
And Jen says there's like 50 locations on that map that has that label. And Diana asks, was it your friend who drove past your mom's house slow, uninvolved?
Okay, so was Randy's friend who drove past his mom's house involved? His disappearance? No.
Was Steve Doherty's death connected to Randy's case?
No.
Did Randy have an accident that night that he went missing?
Yes.
Is Randy near a ravine?
Yes. Yep, I got a yes on that one. That, Jen, I know you talked about having that map with 50 locations. There's something with that. I don't know what that is, but I feel like one of those is it. Which I normally don't feel that way. Like I said, I don't think it's near. Near. I hear the word near, and I feel a lot of energy with that map. So something there. I feel like that. There's something there.
Was the house burned to cover up an event that happened to Randy?
No. Did hear the word arson though. Don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, no, it's a good map. And are you at, is Randy at Stranger Creek? I get a no. Which is surprising. That sounds like it would be the most logical location, but I think that's been searched many times too. Alex is not having any luck.
Not yet. I just resent him the link. He said it keeps coming up that access blocked StreamYard's request does not comply with Google's policies.
I had that when I tried to log in with my phone that one time. I wasn't able to log in. Now, whenever I use my laptop, it's fine. So I'm not sure if that makes a difference or not for him, but
And no, again, I've got no guests or anything turned off.
okay. And is Randy in the area where the writing in the sand that said Randy was here? No. And Jen had a good question too. Is Randy in a location that the water recedes where the car isn't always submerged? Get a yes on that one. That can mean a lot of different things, but like there's a water nearby, recedes, car isn't always submerged. I do, yeah. You get a yes on that, and I do kind of see that too. And I don't know if it's always been that way or that's just more current. So more current, yes. Ooh, and the time is right. Did local law enforcement cover up the investigation due to individuals at the party being related to them? No.
Is Randy on a property where parties previously took place around 1988?
I get a no. I'm certain about that. Parties took place in 1988. I'll still get a no.
Did Alex personally stand on the property that Randy can be found on?
Yes.
Hey, I'm going to call Alex real quick and try to walk him through this.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, I know. Diana, you asked is Randy's dad? Is Randy with his dad? I do get a yes on that. That's a good question too, Cindy. Narrow down the miles he may be from home. Is he within 4 miles from home? Is he within 4 miles from home? Yes. Is he east of his house? No. Is he west of the house? Yes, a big yes on that one. Internet browsers. I'll send him a message real quick.
Another option, instead of following the link, just go on the internet and pull up the website, stereo.com. Come in the StreamYard and see exactly what you logged in, like you were going to do a video or a live.
Okay, I'll let them know, Jen.
Then the first page you come to, you're going to see the lady Leach slide. Just click on enter studio.
Is he within 3 miles of his home? I get no. So it's probably somewhere around 4 miles-ish or so. I did ask, is any location that's a little difficult to get to? And I got a yes. it easily seen from, is a location easily seen from the road? Yeah, no. Oh, for east, I gotta know. So I said, is Randy located east of his house, his home? Get a no. Wait a minute, east. I might be getting my east and west because I'm seeing I might have got him switched. Is he east west? Is he east of his home? Yeah, I got him switched up in my head. Is he east of his home? Yes. Is he west of his home? No. Dyslexic moment there. Goes by how I understand it too. So I feel like, so is he between where the house and the party and where his home is located? There, that takes the east-west part out. It's in between. Within 200 feet from, is Randy located within 200 feet from railroad tracks? No. Oh, Jen, I sent you a message. Jen said to try internet browsers. Have Alex try switch to internet browsers, if that helps. Yeah, I think when we've done this before, I think there is something about the answers we're getting seems to be consistent with that he's located between the house party and his home. Yeah, yes on that. Somewhere in there. Okay, so Danny asks, I'm going to divide this up a little bit. Was Randy alone in his car when he disappeared? Yeah, yes. Did you lose control of the car? Yeah, yes. Was it because the roads were rugged? No, that one. Was Randy driving more than 8 minutes before he disappeared? Yeah, yes. Is it dark? Yes. Okay. And I know there's been lots of searches. Oh, that's a good question. Was Randy driving to a girl's house instead of home? Oh. Can Randy be found east of 198th Street? Yeah, no.
Did Randy leave the party before midnight?
No.
Diana says it's been so long, maybe right there in plain view, but was missed because of the changes to the area.
Okay.
And unfortunately, that is possible. We have seen that in other cases where the vehicle was basically in plain sight, but you had to be right on top of it to see it, and just happened to not be in the right area. And it took multiple years for that case to get solved.
Yeah. I did get a yes with that. I mean, things have changed for sure. And that's affected the outcome. Yes.
Okay, the property that we got a yes on, or the question I got a yes on, was did I stand on the property, and then did Alex stand on the property that Randy could be found on? Was there another party going on the night that Randy went missing, but with a different group of kids at that party? I know that's multiple questions, so
So was there another party that night? Yes. Was there another party that night around that area? Yes. In Kansas? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, there were other parties going on.
I do have to say that, like, the answers coming through tonight and the consistency, I've got the questions and answers from the other times we've done this, and just the consistency across those really fits a property location that we have actually been on and conducted a search that we knew we needed to go back on. And at this point, if this property is connected to Randy's case, it would likely be more towards an accident type outcome. And tonight's the first time it's been asked regarding Jennifer's map and it being marked on a location or near a location on there. And there are spots near this particular area, but not on this particular area.
There is something with that map. I feel like there's a lot of energy with the map, and it's like it's odd, but there's like a level of excitement. It's like, ooh, it's like there's something with it. Like I can definitely feel that. And so I feel like one of those locations is it. But I did say the word near. It's like it's near. You just said near too. So it's near one of those locations, or it's like I said, it's not like X marks the spot and it's gonna be like right exactly where you think, but it's near. I don't know, near can mean a lot of things, but I just hear the word near. But yeah, there's something with that map.
And I'm going to have to look at your map again, Jennifer, and look at this, because there is a spot on this property that could be marked. And I do know another person who used a drone and searched that spot in particular. It could be there's a mark on that property. It is a substantial size piece of property.
Yeah, there's definitely something with it.
Well, Jennifer, you have to step it up a little bit and get the marker on top of the car. Makes this easy.
make it super easy.
And
A
she
number, do I
asked
hear a
if
number?
there a number in relation.
No, I don't hear a number. The journey's important. But there is definitely something with that map. That is very strong. Yeah, very strong energy with that is what I feel. And I've asked a few times and I get a yes every time. There's something that I can't say for sure, but I feel like he is at one of those locations. So
She says they aren't my tips. She put this together, and anybody who sends a location of interest to her, she marks on her map.
yeah.
And man, so much work she's put into that. And we talk about her map a lot. There's a lot that she's done, but that map is just incredible.
Right, upper left, maybe. But I think, yeah, you guys should compare notes and see if those locations that you're looking at line up with hers, if there's a couple that are close. Now, I did get that it wasn't necessarily the easiest thing to get to. But I do feel like it's more visible than it used to be. Okay, I guess. Yeah, I'm not sure, like, down on the top half, the bottom half. I do hear, like I said, upper left. Well, no, wait. Like a little dyslexic. Upper right. I don't know. So I said upper left, but in my mind's eye, I saw it more on the right. So I don't know.
And here's something that might interest you. I've heard you a few times say that, it's about the journey and the journey's important.
Yeah.
This is from the very first dowsing episode you did on Randy Leach's case. And in the middle of it, you stopped and you said a big part of this journey is really important. So that is still very consistent with what you're getting tonight.
Yeah. I'm more like, let's just find it and get it over with. And the answer I get is like, no, that's not the point. So.
And did Randy take his normal route home when he left the party?
No.
Man, that is fitting.
Yeah.
Alex, I hope Alex is still watching this because.
Okay. Well, and it's like if I'm doing a good job, I usually don't. I'll remember bits and pieces of it, but I don't remember everything that I do because it's just how it is. Usually, you don't always remember everything. So some things, I'll remember, but most of it I don't.
And it's been quite a while since we've done one of these on Randy. And in fact, there's been 2 or 3 other cases we've done this since the last Randy Leach one. So, like, like answers aren't coming on all of this from memory, I guess is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I don't remember most of them. I'd forgotten I talked about the journey at all. So it's like, really? I talk about the journey? Okay, fine.
You would think the car would be visible off the side of the road if he had an accident, depending on the foliage and overgrowth in 88, since they searched extensively for him during that time. I know the area that I'm thinking of, there are places there that a vehicle could have went off and pretty much remained hidden. Now, a lot of times with an accident, you're going to see skid marks, you're going to see limbs busted off of trees. So could there have been signs there that had been overlooked, or could he have went off and not actually impacted a tree till further in? I know, and I keep talking about this one particular location, but this property literally had every kind of land type on it, from your trees, your clearings. You could actually get off the road and get a pretty good ways in before making impact. Big hills, water, marsh area. This particular property has basically everything on it. Is the road Randy was last on still a road today?
Yes. Yep, I got a yes on that one. I feel like it's possible he may have, sometimes when you want to hit the brake, but you hit the gas instead, that could be something. And it was dark. Like, I know it was nighttime because it was late, but I felt like it was, how it is on those country roads. It's really dark out sometimes. And I don't know if there was like any moonlight that night or not, but I felt like it was darker than normal, maybe. And I think there was I feel like there was some judgment, maybe due to alcohol or something involved too. I don't know how much. I don't think it was like completely, drunk and he couldn't barely walk kind of thing, but I think there might have been something that might have had an effect too.
So Max said the railroad tracks from the last Dowsing episode seemed promising. And Jennifer, we're going to have to get in touch with you and compare some things, because even with what Mac's saying there, that's not far off from this property, I'm thinking. Maybe how fast he was driving would affect how far off the road he could be. Was he driving over 55? Was Randy driving over 55 miles per hour that night?
When he was driving at any point, did he drive over 55? Yes. Is that what contributed to him going? Yes. So I asked if that can help, that him going over 55 contribute to him disappearing. I got yes. Don't remember the railroad tracks, honestly. Yeah, because if it's like farm field for a little bit, I mean, it gets pretty rough. But some of them, because if it's like it is now, nothing's been planted yet. I know they used to disc, but now they don't even disc anymore. So. Okay, so I did look it up. So on April 15th, 1988, the moon was in a waning crescent phase with only about 1.5% of its surface illuminated. Just before the new moon on April 16th. So it would have been, that kind of aligns with that. It's kind of nice when that works out. But yeah, so it would have been, the moon would have been, the new moon is April 16th. So it was basically, there was hardly any moonlight at all. Is best viewed in the eastern sky just before sunrise. So it might have been pretty dark. So I've done that, like, I have family members that live more out, even further out in the country, and when there's no moonlight out, I mean, it's dark.
It's one of the things I miss about living down in Lebanon. We didn't put a big light outside, and we were way out in the county. Those dark nights were beautiful.
Yeah, I prefer that too. But not so much driving on a gravel road, but you just go slow. You have your headlights, but yeah, as you know, like I said, the thing on gravel roads, you're only supposed to go like no more than 45. Might depend on the state, but it might depend on the time frame too. So. But like most teenagers, especially back then, you tended to speed.
Oh, I bet it is dark out there, Mac.
You can see the stars really good. Okay, it's a bunch of different questions. Okay, so did his car leave the road? Yes. Did it head north? No. Did it head south? Yes. I'm getting that one right. Are there spur marks left on the road? No. The weather that night. You know what the weather was that night? Or the next day? There's that underground weather.
I'm pulling up on April 15th, 1988 in Linwood, Kansas. The weather was described as a beautiful spring evening at approximately 6:30 p.m. The temperature was 59 degrees Fahrenheit with a slight wind coming from the north.
Okay. How about the 16th? Yeah, weather underground. Doesn't go that far back.
On April 16th, 1988, the weather in the vicinity of Linwood, Kansas was mild and dry. Data from the nearby Leavenworth 5 NNW station indicates a high temperature of 63, a low around 40, and no measurable precipitation.
Okay, so it's not like anything would have gotten washed away or anything like that. So, and the wind to have an effect. So, So if there were swerve marks, they would have still been there. Although, driving on the gravel roads, there's all kinds of other cars that make things too, but it'd have to be, if you saw it going like off the road, that would be, you still see it once in a while, but you think that'd be something that would make you go look at least. So
I think it was not this last Halloween, but the Halloween after. We'd taken the kids trick-or-treating at a nearby neighborhood. Turns out that a deputy was driving through and noticed a skid mark and that a sign was knocked over. So he stopped and investigated and had found that a vehicle had driven off within the last hour and it had an injured person inside of it. And the person survived it. And a lot of that was thanks to that deputy noticing and checking that.
yeah.
Well, it does look like StreamYard got it fixed where we're not shutting off at the 2-hour mark now, except for Alex.
Yeah. Well, apparently turning everything all off and on again didn't work. So in the different browsers and clearing the cache and
It's just, we've been working on Randy's case now for a little over 5 years. It's just hard to imagine it's already going on 38 years at this point.
yeah, it's a long time. Because you would think, and I think someone mentioned this, if it was an accident, why didn't they find him? Like I said, and maybe he's just not where everyone expects him to be. Maybe it's, like I said, it could be further out. If he was driving faster, and it was relatively clear for a while, which is common in that area. This one wasn't with a car, but there was a case in Iowa. Don't know if it was last year, maybe the year before. It was a truck driver, and he was driving his truck. He had, I think, pigs he was delivering, and he didn't make it. So they went out and searched for him. Now they found the truck abandoned on the side of the road, and this was like in January, I think, maybe February, something like that. So it was wintertime, and it's cold out. And they did searches and searches and couldn't find him. And then they ended up finding him once it got a little warmer out. I think farmer found him in his field, not terribly far from where he was at. So it happens.
What was the road near the house party, and is Randy on that road? The party was on 166th Street.
Okay. Yeah. I'll ask. I get to know if he's on 166th Street. I get to know. Did he drive on Golden Road? I can know for that. Don't know what that means. But yeah, if it's really rural, yeah, and there's enough coverage, or like you said, that you go down a creek, because people don't walk around out there. You do have people who go, I'm sure there's people who go for walks and that, but you have the farmers that usually will go out and do the fields. But if he's in an area that's covered or mostly covered, you may not see him. So
see, one of the last areas we've actually searched was a little triangle piece of property and had the roads going around it, and another vehicle had went off there. Unfortunately, the person did pass away. The car had caught fire. And Alex and I walked through that property, and it was so thick through there that if we got 10 feet from each other, we couldn't see each other.
Wow.
So we had to literally grid that to ensure that every piece of property was checked. But Jennifer is right there. You know, there's a lot of things out there that makes it really hard to see any kind of distance through there.
So when you say it was really thick, is it like trees and underbrush, bushes
Yes.
and that?
Yeah.
Okay. But there's also farmland out there too.
Over on this side, not so much farm as fields and woods.
Really? Okay.
Then going down Golden Road, you also had the big hill off the side that goes down to the train tracks.
Oh, okay. That's another one. I don't remember the train tracks, but usually the trains go by and they do repairs on a regular basis. And I don't know if it's just the tracks or if there's, they usually have, they have maintenance areas and little stops along the way that are meant for maintenance or repairs or whatnot. I don't know if anything like that's nearby, but you think they would have seen something too.
Yeah, they have a maintenance area right there by Stranger Creek.
Oh, did they?
Road.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. It's right next to Stranger Creek. So again, yeah, but if it's that thick, like you said, then maybe, they might even not see it either. So, and people do sometimes people do throw away their trash or banners or whatnot in some areas like that too. So it could be like you see something, but like, oh yeah, you see junk out there all the time, so you don't even think anything of it. So.
And Jennifer says here, Google has added a lot of street views to the area recently. Mm-hmm. It's been multiple. I mean, used to you could find some, but they weren't really all that helpful. But now there is a lot of them in that area on Google.
Okay. There's a couple of questions. Okay. So is Randy in an area that has trees? Yes. Area that has brush, bushes, whatnot. Yes. Did Randy make a mistake while driving? Yes. Did Randy fall asleep while he drove? Oh, yes. So more like dozed off. He fall deep asleep. No. Dozed off. Yeah, there could have been something with that too. Alcohol have an effect? Yes. It was like it could be a multiple thing it's contributing. So I don't think no one's ever asked that one, like if he fell asleep or dozed off or something. Okay. Was Randy drugged? No. A big no. And just to be clear, I'm not asking Randy per se. I'm more asking angels, guides, higher self kind of thing. But these are all really good questions.
I think we might need to come back and revisit this again in another live down the road.
Okay. Yeah. I still feel like every time I think of that map, that's cool. So I did also hear it's about the right time too.
With that, I gotta ask the question I always ask: does Randy want to be found?
Yes, that's a big yes.
See, I was used to those yes answers till the Loyevich case come up, and that was like, whoa.
But yeah, there is something about zeitgeist, spirit of time, the right time for the right thing. So there's also that too. But if that's all there was, then we wouldn't ever need to look. It always just happen. It always happens when it's supposed to. But it's definitely something that we can all have an effect on and help bring closure. Help find the location, help bring some comfort to the family that way.
Yeah, 38 years. I had really hoped that Randy could be found before his dad passed. Unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. So I guess there's comfort in knowing that they're together now. But I really hope Alberta gets answers.
Yeah.
So, guys, we are going on 2.5 hours now tonight. So I think we'll probably go ahead and wrap it up. And then we'll revisit this again in the future. We'll let you guys know ahead of time when that is coming up so you can get more questions ready. As Max says, Harold knows where Randy is now. Jen says we're all going to have to take a trip to Kansas and help. Come on.
Yeah.
The more the merrier.
Yeah, and I know Diana said she asked those questions for it was speculation of the past, and those are all really good questions. I appreciate those, Diana.
I
And Jen, I think we asked earlier if Randy made it to Stranger Creek, and I did get a no on that. So at least that time. Yeah, no, the family definitely needs some closure.
So, guys, thank you guys for joining us tonight. Tamara, do you have anything else to add tonight?
No, we're just something about that map, which is really cool. But otherwise, yeah, I think that everyone had fantastic questions, and it really helped kind of narrow down things, and everyone asked it in a different way to help make sure we're on the right path and getting the same answers, which is just perfect. So no, I appreciate it. Everyone did great.
So, guys, with that, thank you again for being here tonight. You guys stay safe. We will see you guys down the road.
Yep, thank you. See you all.